I remember nights when my mind raced, replaying every moment of the day as if a film on loop. Those were the nights I learned that asking the universe begins with gentle stillness. Between wakefulness and sleep lies a landscape where thoughts drift into something more receptive, more alive. If you can consciously release the vibrato of your waking worries, you open a gateway for your deepest intentions. In education, we learn that the brain's alpha and theta frequencies become dominant just before sleep, allowing new beliefs to imprint more powerfully. By intentionally guiding your transition into rest, you reshape the subtle currents of your inner world. As you prepare for the night ahead, consider drawing your attention inward with a simple breathing exercise. Find a comfortable position. Lying on your back with arms at your sides often works best, and begin by exhaling fully. Notice as each breath empties your chest, creating space for calm to settle. Then inhale slowly, counting to 4 in your mind, and feel the air fill your lungs as if inflating a gentle balloon. Hold that breath for a moment at the top before exhaling for a count of 6. This subtle variation encourages relaxation by activating your parasympathetic nervous system, teaching your body that it is safe to rest. After a few minutes of mindful breathing, let your focus gently migrate through your physical form in what is known as a body scan. Start at your toes and imagine sending warm ease upward, as though a soft wave carries away tension. When your awareness reaches your ankles, pause to notice any sensation, tightness, coolness, or subtle flutter. Breathe into that spot, then release. Continue this slow journey through calves, knees, thighs, hips, torso, shoulders, arms, neck, and face. By granting each region of your body a moment of attention, you invite complete relaxation and signal to every cell that rest is not just allowed but embraced. Creating the right environment anchors your intention in the physical world. Dim the lights or work with a soft glow that holds shadows more than illumination. Turn off screens and stow away buzzing devices. If you enjoy sound, consider playing a gentle ambient track. Wind chimes, distant rain, or a faint hum of ambient synthesis can fill silence without stirring the mind. Ensure the temperature feels neither too warm nor too cold. A comfortable coolness often deepens relaxation. Even little rituals, like lighting a non-scented candle or placing a favorite blanket across your feet, become silent affirmations that this moment belongs exclusively to your inner experience. As twilight deepens, guard your inner dialogue like a curator of a sacred gallery. If a stray worry wanders in, acknowledge it kindly and then gently escort it out. Replace mental clutter with affirmations or simple statements that reinforce calm. I am safe, I am enough, or rest invites renewal. You might imagine each thought as a leaf floating down a stream. Observe it, then watch it drift away. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, training your mind to automatically reject conflicting thoughts and preserve the purity of your nightly request to the universe. Some find it helpful to give form to lingering ideas on paper before sleep. Keep a small journal by your bedside and each night jot down a single sentence. One frustration you release and one hope you embrace. The act of writing transfers the charge of feeling from your head onto the page, giving you permission to let go. If you prefer a spoken ritual, softly articulate these same lines into your pillow. Either way, you mark the boundary between the waking world's demands and the fertile realm of imagination, making your intent both tangible and honored. Once your body and mind have settled, return your attention to a brief but vivid scene that embodies your desire. Picture it as if watching a slice of film that needs no sound. Let the images speak for themselves. Perhaps you see the slip of paper with your name on it, confirming your request granted. Or imagine the warmth of a hug that seals your dream into everyday life. Engage multiple senses. Feel the texture beneath your fingertip. Hear the distant echo of laughter. Taste the sweetness of victory. By transporting yourself to that moment, you plant a seed which your subconscious mind will nurture while you sleep. Consistency is the silent craftsman that carves desire into reality. Just as gardeners water young plants daily, replay this tranquil ritual each night without fail. When life demands tempt you to skip a session, remember that even a moment of stillness is better than none at all. Bit by bit, you build a library of peaceful precedents, a record for your mind to reference long after the evening ends. Eventually, falling asleep through this sacred practice becomes as natural as sliding between sheets. The boundary between intention and manifestation grows so thin, it begins to dissolve. In this gentle prelude to sleep, you establish the vital link between conscious desire and subconscious fulfillment. The calm you cultivate is not mere rest. It is the fertile ground where intention takes root. As your eyelids close and the world dissolves, the universe opens its ear to your whispered wishes, ready to orchestrate events in harmony with your inner state. Trust that these nightly moments of stillness carry echoes far beyond the borders of your bedroom, guiding circumstances and conversations in ways you might never anticipate, but will one day celebrate. Embrace this ritual as your secret conversation with possibility. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a single frame of your deepest desire coming true, a snapshot of reality as you wish it to be. Perhaps you see yourself holding a newly minted key, the weight of it warm and promising in your hand. Maybe you hear the genuine laughter of someone you love, ringing clear and vibrant. This brief, well-defined scene becomes your secret blueprint. By confining your imagination to a concise moment, you give your mind a precise target. Rather than scattering your attention across an entire story, you focus on the climax, the peak of fulfillment. This clarity makes it effortless for your subconscious to grasp and hold on to the image, like a photograph tucked safely into an album of memory. When you keep your mental scenes short and potent, you work with the natural rhythms of memory formation. Research in cognitive psychology shows that the mind excels at storing compact, vivid experiences more than sprawling narratives. Think of the way a catchy melody or a poignant photograph can lodge itself in your awareness after just one exposure. Your nightly mental movie need not be feature-length. Its power lies in precision. A scene lasting no longer than 10 seconds can ignite the same emotional charge as a full daydream. By designing a microcosm of fulfillment, you respect the limits of conscious focus while maximizing the depth of feeling. This balance between brevity and intensity is where true creative alchemy happens. Select a symbol or moment that resonates deeply with your heart, one that carries unmistakable significance. If you long for abundance, imagine a single golden coin dropping into an open hand. If you yearn for connection, picture two voices blending in grateful conversation. By isolating a simple gesture or object, you prevent your mind from wandering into doubts or distractions. This focused image becomes a lodestar that your imagination can return to again and again. Like a lighthouse beam cutting through fog, your chosen scene stands out against the haze of everyday thoughts, guiding your subconscious toward the harbor of your intention. As you crystallize this moment, engage as many senses as you can without diluting the scene's brevity. Feel the smoothness of the coin, the warmth of the handshake, the gentle echo of heartfelt laughter. Notice the color, the weight, the ambient temperature. If a scent or taste naturally arises, freshly cut grass in a new home, the sweetness of celebratory champagne, let it surface. Multisensory engagement deepens the emotional resonance, embedding the scene in the neural networks that govern memory and belief. Yet resist the temptation to add more than 3 or 4 sensory details, or the precision that makes your snapshot lose its focus. Educational studies confirm that multisensory mental imagery activates multiple brain regions, from visual cortex to somatosensory areas. When you conjure a mental picture laced with texture, sound, and emotion, you simulate the experience as though it were happening in real time. This simulation strengthens the synaptic connections associated with your chosen goal. In sleep research, scientists have observed that the brain consolidates memories most effectively when they are clear and emotionally charged. By rehearsing your concise scene just before slumber, you leverage the brain's natural tendency to replay important events, embedding your intention deep within the sleeping mind. To craft your scene, think of it as a movie script with a single line of action. In your mind's eye, play that line on a loop. No stop, no rewind, just a steady, uninterrupted stream. If your desire is for a new job, see the letter of offer in crisp black ink. Feel the paper's smoothness. Sense the swell of pride in your chest. Practice this script during daytime intervals. Glimpse it in a passing moment of calm, as if touching a talisman. These micro-rehearsals sharpen the edges of your scene. When nighttime comes, the image stands ready, polished and immediate, requiring no extra effort to bring it to life. Night after night, consistency turns a simple sketch into a living memory. Just as athletes perfect a short sequence of movements through repeated drills, you refine your mental scene through nightly practice. Each repetition deepens the neural grooves that store that image, making it more vivid and automatic. Over time, the act of recalling the scene becomes almost as effortless as breathing. When you drift toward sleep, your mind sweeps past the chatter of the day and settles on this familiar tableau. The repeated imprint signals to your subconscious, here is something of supreme importance. Let us align the outer world to match it. If stray thoughts intrude, an unfinished to-do list, a fleeting worry, simply acknowledge them and return to your brief movie clip. Picture intrusive thoughts as clouds passing across a clear sky. Let them drift away without judgment. Then resettle on your fulfilled moment. To anchor this process, you might choose a gentle internal cue, like touching your fingertips together, or inhaling softly. Such cues knit mind and body, providing a tactile or physiological anchor that brings you back to the scene's center. Over time, this ritual becomes a peaceful habit, signaling to every part of you that it is time to step into the reality you desire. By fashioning a brief, concrete scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled, you extend an invitation to your entire being to internalize a state of accomplishment, gratitude, and joy. This invitation ripples through your subconscious, planting seeds that sprout into circumstances reflecting your chosen snapshot. As you repeat this simple practice, night after night, the scene blossoms from a private reverie into a powerful creative directive. In that gentle, focused moment before sleep, you hold the brush that paints your tomorrow. I remember a night when I lay awake, heart fluttering with anticipation, as though my very soul leaned into the darkness, eager for a sign. It was in that hushed moment I understood that seeing my desire in the mind's eye was only a whisper. It was the pulse of feeling behind the vision that struck the cosmic chord. When I simply observed a mental picture, it drifted like mist, beautiful yet lacking weight. Only when I breathed life into that scene, igniting genuine emotion, did it anchor itself in the depths of my being, where creation stirs. Feeling is not an accessory to imagination. It is its very heartbeat. Recall a time when you received news that sent a thrill through your body. The unexpected compliment, the long-awaited opportunity, the moment you first held a newborn in your arms. The memory of that rush isn't parked in your mind as a sterile fact. It lives in the electric charge coursing through your veins, in the swell of warmth around your chest, in the widening of your smile. This visceral echo is the signal your subconscious comes alive to, far more potent than any image alone. To infuse your mental scene with this living charge, begin by summoning an experience in which your body already knows the emotion you need. If you're manifesting financial prosperity, pause to recall the calm certainty of a paycheck covering every bill, the gentle relief that washes over you when you know you're secure. Feel the softness of your favorite blanket against your skin, the steady rhythm of your breath. Let that physical comfort flow into your imagined moment of abundance, so that your body cannot distinguish between memory and rehearsal. Educational research in emotional neuroscience shows that our amygdala, the part of the brain that tags experiences as important, responds most strongly to stimuli laden with genuine feeling. When you infuse imagination with heartfelt emotion, you broadcast to every neural network that this scenario matters. Your hippocampus, guardian of memory, then consolidates the scene, embedding it deeply into the pathways that guide automatic thoughts and behaviors. In contrast, a sterile mental image floats away like dandelion seeds on the wind, unlikely to find fertile ground. Imagine your scene as a short film accompanied by a stirring symphony. The visuals alone would be pleasant, but when joined by the tremor of cello strings or the exultant swell of brass, the whole becomes unforgettable. In your mind's theater, let the music be the feeling, the quickened heartbeat of triumph, the soft sigh of contentment, the quiet chorus of gratitude. As you play this film nightly, the emotional soundtrack becomes so inscrutable from reality that your subconscious attends to it as if it were an event already lived. When you rehearse, consider engaging small gestures that echo the feeling. A gentle smile or a soft sigh can act as a physical cue, telling the body, "This is the moment I long for." Place a hand on your heart to feel its steady beat, or lay a finger lightly at your temple to sense the warmth of conviction. These micro-expressions reinforce the authenticity of your emotion, bridging the gap between inside and out. The body then cooperates, sending chemical messengers, endorphins, oxytocin, that imprint the feeling further into your system. Doubt and distraction often arrive uninvited, attempting to dilute the potency of your emotional charge. If fear creeps in, whisper inwardly, "I acknowledge you, but I choose this feeling." Treat that doubt with curiosity rather than disdain, then gently return to the core emotion. Like a gardener tending to a young sapling, you might need to clear away weeds of uncertainty before the plant can flourish. Each time you recenter on genuine feeling, you strengthen the habit of emotional focus, making it easier to slip back into the desired state. Over time, the benefits of this practice unfold in subtle yet profound ways. You'll notice moments in waking life when the same joy you cultivated at bedtime flickers into consciousness. A stranger's kind word, a golden ray of sunlight, the taste of a favorite meal. These mini rehearsals during the day water the seeds planted in sleep, reinforcing belief and guiding your attention toward opportunities that echo your nightly vision. Gradually, you shift from chasing distant outcomes to living in harmony with your desires here and now. Beyond nightly practice, carry this emotional resonance into daily life. When a sunrise catches your eye or a friendly greeting warms your heart, briefly recall the quiet, genuine joy you cultivated before sleep. These mini rehearsals signal to your subconscious that the feeling belongs in waking reality too, deepening belief and guiding you toward experiences that reflect your nightly vision. Feelings become your compass, pointing ever toward the reality you have lovingly imagined. In those sacred moments before slumber, remember that emotion is not merely decoration. It is the catalyst that transforms imagination into living, breathing reality. I remember a night when I nestled under my blankets and felt a fierce surge of possibility pulse through every fiber of my being. In that moment, I realized that dwelling in an emotion isn't a passive act. It's an active communion with the deepest parts of yourself. When you linger within a feeling until it saturates your awareness, you aren't merely pretending or wishfully thinking. You are training your mind and body to inhabit a version of reality that already exists in the unseen realm. Imagine pouring a single drop of dye into a clear glass of water. At first, the color is concentrated and small, but with time and gentle stirring, the entire glass becomes tinted. Feelings work in precisely this way. If you hold on to the sensation of fulfillment long enough, it begins to infuse every corner of your consciousness. To begin, choose one emotion that aligns perfectly with your desire: joy, gratitude, relief, or perhaps quiet triumph. Then give it space. Let it grow from a faint glow into a steady flame. Picture that warmth spreading from your chest to your fingertips, your toes, and every cell in between. Notice how your pulse slows, how your breathing deepens, and how the surface of your thoughts becomes calm and mirrored. Educational studies in physiology reveal that our bodies and minds are deeply interconnected. The vagus nerve links the brain to the heart, lungs, and gut, carrying messages that shape our emotional landscape. When you sustain a positive feeling, you send a cascade of neural and chemical signals, endorphins, oxytocin, dopamine, that cement that state within your nervous system. By lingering in the feeling, you create a feedback loop. The more you feel, the more your body produces the gentle biochemistry of well-being, which in turn heightens the sensation, anchoring it ever more firmly in both mind and body. But this practice demands patience. The modern mind is accustomed to flitting from thought to thought, much like a hummingbird darting between blossoms. To linger in a single feeling is to swim against that current. It requires conscious discipline. You might find your attention wandering to yesterday's arguments, tomorrow's deadlines, or the constant hum of notifications. When that happens, simply recognize the distraction with kindness, no self-judgment, and gently return your focus to the emotion you've chosen. Think of it as guiding a playful puppy back to your side. Each time you redirect, you fortify the path your mind will naturally follow in the future. Over time, you'll notice that the act of lingering becomes less like a forced effort and more like a natural habit. Just as regular exercise strengthens muscles, this emotional rehearsal sculpts the architecture of your inner world. Your subconscious mind, which responds most profoundly to repeated patterns, begins to treat your cultivated feeling as an underlying truth rather than a fleeting fantasy. It moves from asking, "Could this be real?" to accepting, "This is how things are." From that shift, your external life begins to reflect the interior reality you've so tenderly nourished. Practical application can deepen the experience. Some people find comfort in a gentle rhythmic motion, rocking slightly from side to side or swaying with closed eyes while they hold the feeling. Others place a hand over the heart, physically acknowledging the emotional pulse beneath their fingertips. These small rituals serve as tactile anchors, reminding both body and mind of the feeling's presence. You might choose a soft phrase or mantra, "All is well," or "I am gratitude," and repeat it in a low tone, almost like an undercurrent beneath the main current of emotion. This fusion of movement, touch, and spoken word creates a multisensory tapestry that weaves the feeling more thoroughly into your being. Educational research into habit formation highlights that pairing a new behavior with a stable context or cue enhances consistency. You could light a small nightlight each evening, or play a single note on a wind chime before you begin. These external markers signal to your mind that it's time to transition from the tasks of the day into the sacred space of emotional immersion. Over weeks, the cue and the practice become inseparable in your subconscious, making it easier to settle into lingering without consciously resisting distraction. Yet, it is vital to preserve the playfulness of this practice. If you approach it with rigidity or harsh expectation, you risk creating tension that undermines the very relaxation and openness you seek. Instead, treat it as a gentle exploration, a nightly experiment in feeling, where each session teaches you something new about the art of inner stillness. Perhaps one evening the feeling arises effortlessly, like a sunrise breaking through clouds. Another night it may prove more elusive. Both experiences are valuable data, guiding you toward deeper self-understanding. As you absorb the feeling night after night, notice how it begins to color your waking hours. You may catch yourself smiling at ordinary moments, recalling the warmth you cultivated in sleep. You might speak with greater patience, find joy in small victories, or feel a steady undercurrent of knowing that things are unfolding in your favor. These ripples confirm that lingering in feeling doesn't end when your eyes open. It sets the tone for your entire day, creating a coherent thread between the world of dreams and the world of reality. In those quiet hours when the world around you is hushed, allowing yourself to linger in the chosen emotion is the most profound act of self-expression. It tells your subconscious mind, "This is who I am." And the universe responds by aligning circumstances to mirror that declaration. Every breath you take while immersed in feeling reinforces the blueprint of your desire, weaving it into the tapestry of your life. By mastering the art of lingering, you step into a collaborative dance with reality itself, where intention and sensation move in harmony, and the boundary between imagined and experienced begins to dissolve. I remember the first time I whispered those simple words in the hush before sleep. Thank you for this blessing. At first it felt almost too gentle to hold such power, but as I spoke the phrase inwardly, I sensed it tightened the thread between my desire and my conviction. Gratitude is not merely polite acknowledgement. It is the alchemical seal that fuses imagination and emotion into a single, unbreakable assumption. When you anchor your mental scene with a heartfelt thank you, you transform a wish into a gift already received. Your mind and heart accept it as fact rather than fantasy. In educational terms, gratitude functions as a cognitive anchor. Anchoring bias, a well-documented phenomenon in psychology, shows how an initial piece of information, your thank you phrase, serves as a reference point for subsequent thoughts and judgments. By deliberately choosing a phrase of gratitude, you establish a mental anchor that skews your mindset toward abundance and fulfillment. Instead of vacillating between hope and doubt, your mind rests on the stability of appreciation. This appreciation then colors every subsequent thought, creating a mental environment where your desire feels natural, inevitable, and near at hand. Physiologically, the act of gratitude lights up neural pathways associated with reward and well-being. Studies in neuroscience demonstrate that expressing gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters that boost mood and encourage positive behavior. As you speak thank you for this blessing, your brain responds as if you've already received the gift, flooding your system with the warmth of satisfaction. This chemical cascade reinforces the emotional charge behind your intention, embedding it more deeply into your subconscious. Each night you repeat the phrase, you're not just reinforcing an idea, you're building a biochemical foundation for belief. Choosing the right words matters less than choosing words that resonate with you personally. Perhaps I am so grateful for this gift feels more authentic, or my heart overflows with thanks, carries a richer emotional tone. The key is sincerity. When you articulate gratitude that genuinely reflects your inner response to the imagined scene, your subconscious receives a clear, unambiguous instruction. This moment of fulfillment is real and worth celebrating. Avoid generic or hollow phrases. Lean into the nuance that stirs your heart. The more uniquely human your gratitude feels, the stronger its imprint on your inner world. To practice, begin by holding your mental scene brief, vivid, and alive in your mind's eye. Once you've summoned that image, silently speak your chosen phrase of gratitude. Enunciate each word in your mind as though you were offering thanks at a long table surrounded by friends. Feel the weight of each syllable vibrate within you. Notice how your chest softens, how your shoulders relax, how your jaw unclenches. These physical shifts are signs that your body is aligning with your intention. By marrying the mental image with the spoken phrase, you create a multi-sensory experience that resonates far beyond a simple thought. If your mind wanders or resistance surfaces as doubt, acknowledge the interruption without judgment and return to your phrase. You might notice a fleeting thought like, what if this never happens? Let it pass like a cloud drifting across the sky. Then gently recenter on, thank you for this blessing. Over time, this discipline builds mental resilience, training you to protect the sanctity of your nightly ritual. In the same way that musicians practice scales to maintain dexterity, you rehearse gratitude to maintain emotional clarity and focus. Some people find it helpful to whisper their gratitude around the edges of their scene, almost as a frame that contains the picture. Others place a hand over the heart, using touch to deepen the sincerity of their thanks. You could even visualize your gratitude as a golden light that radiates outward from your chest, illuminating the mental scene you've created. These small embellishments are simply tools to intensify your practice. They are not mandatory. The true power lies in the heartfelt intention behind the phrase. Beyond your nightly ritual, carry this attitude of gratitude into waking life. Keep a small journal by your bedside, and each morning jot down one sentence that begins with, I'm grateful for. This daytime habit reinforces the neural pathways you've activated at night, creating a seamless loop between sleep and wakefulness. As you move through your day, let gratitude be the filter through which you interpret experiences. A traffic jam becomes an unexpected moment of calm. A challenging meeting transforms into an opportunity for growth. The more you apply gratitude broadly, the more natural it becomes to anchor your nightly assumption with wholehearted thanks. It's important, too, to recognize that gratitude is not about ignoring genuine challenges or pretending everything is perfect. True gratitude coexists with difficulty. It acknowledges hardship while affirming that even amid struggle there is room for appreciation. If you find yourself resisting the phrase because circumstances feel overwhelming, start small. Thank you for this breath, or thank you for this moment of peace. These modest expressions still activate the anchoring effect, reminding your subconscious that you have the power to choose your inner state, regardless of outer condition. By consistently sealing your mental scene with sincere gratitude, you transform a simple bedtime exercise into an enduring shift in consciousness. The phrase, "thank you for this blessing," becomes a mantra that resonates through every aspect of your life, guiding you toward experiences that mirror the gratitude you cultivate. As gratitude deepens, your world begins to reflect abundance rather than scarcity. Doors open you hadn't noticed before, relationships deepen, and opportunities emerge as if drawn by the magnetic pull of your appreciation. In the gentle darkness before sleep, let gratitude be the final word you speak to your mind and heart. It is the simplest yet most profound tool you possess, a humanized key that unlocks the door between desire and reality. Each night, as you anchor your scene with thanks, you send a clear message to your subconscious. This is already done, and I welcome it with an open, grateful heart. I remember the first night I tried to slip my carefully crafted mental scene into sleep, and how my very effort to hold on made it slip further away, like chasing a butterfly, only to watch it flutter out of reach. That's when I learned the art of gentle release. Instead of battling the pull of slumber, I began to treat my mental image as a bird I set in flight. I would offer it clear intention, watch it circle once, and then open my hand and let it soar into the quiet sky of my mind as I drifted off. When you force yourself to stay awake, clinging to the edges of that precious scene, you awaken the analytical mind. The moment you strain to keep a thought alive, your frontal cortex flips into alert mode, scanning for contradictions, doubts, and incomplete tasks. In that state, sleep recedes, and your mental picture becomes a flickering lamp in a gusty wind, unstable, unpredictable, and ultimately dismissed by your subconscious as unimportant. But when you surrender the scene with kindness, you transition into the hypnagogic threshold, that gentle space between waking thought and dreaming reverie, where the subconscious is most receptive. Educational studies in sleep science reveal that the brain's last waking impressions have an outsized influence on memory consolidation. In the minutes before sleep, your hippocampus and neocortex engage in a delicate dance, weaving recent experiences into the tapestry of your deeper memory stores. When you allow your final conscious act to be the soft replay of your scene, untainted by tension or second-guessing, you ensure that your intention arrives pure and vibrant at the subconscious gates. Think of it as setting a bookmark in your mind. The clearer and calmer it is, the easier it is to return to that place upon waking. To practice this, lie quietly and bring your mental image to life for a single breath or two. Notice every detail, colors, textures, emotions, just long enough for the scene to feel complete. Then imagine placing it gently on a pillow beside you, acknowledging its presence without clutching it to your chest. You might visualize the pillow absorbing your intention like soft velvet, holding it safe until morning light. As you exhale, whisper inwardly, "I release this to rest," feeling the tension in your shoulders dissolve. Then simply allow your focus to drift, moving from that pillow of intention toward the natural rhythm of your breath as sleep carries you away. If your mind protests, "But I'll lose it," Meet it with a quiet reassurance. What I have impressed will remain. Picture your scene not as a handwritten note you might misplace, but as an indelible engraving on the hidden walls of your mind. Trust that once you've given the instruction, the subconscious doesn't need you to hover. It eagerly takes the baton, running the final leg of the relay while you surrender to rest. This shift from active control to patient trust transforms your mental practice from a struggle into a gracious handoff. Physical cues can help signal this transition. Some people touch their fingertips together as they release the scene, like closing the clasp on a locket. Others rest their palms lightly on their belly, feeling the rise and fall of each breath as an anchor into the softness of night. If you prefer sound, a final gentle sigh can mark the moment of release. These simple gestures act as bridges from the sphere of intention to the realm of slumber, reminding every part of your being that it is now time to let go and let the deeper mind take over. Resisting the urge to stay awake also protects the integrity of your nighttime ritual. Imagine recording a message on a tape and then playing it for an audience. You wouldn't pause the player halfway to check that the tape hadn't skipped. In the same way, once you've recorded your scene in the quiet studio of your mind, you allow the playback to run seamlessly into the theater of dreams. That continuous, uninterrupted flow gives your subconscious the full script to work with, unbroken by conscious edits or rewinds. As you drift beyond awareness, know that the moment you let go is the moment your intention truly begins its work. In dreams, subtle echoes of your scene may surface, symbols, images, or feelings that reflect the seed you planted. You may wake with faint impressions of your intention, like morning mist clinging to the edges of memory. Even if you forget the details upon waking, the underlying shift has occurred. The subconscious has accepted and processed your request, setting in motion the unseen orchestration of events. Practice this gentle release nightly, and you'll find that sleep itself becomes an ally rather than an obstacle. What once felt like slipping away from consciousness transforms into a graceful descent, guided by the final whisper of your intention. In that space where doing gives way to allowing, your deepest wishes find the freedom to germinate. By learning to let go with trust and tenderness, you step into the true power of your pre-sleep ritual, where intention meets surrender and possibility unfolds in the fertile soil of dreams. I remember a time when I lay awake long after the moon had climbed high, wrestling with questions that seemed to echo louder in the stillness. Had I done enough? Was my intention clear? In that moment I realized something profound. The greatest act of creation happens not when we push or pry, but when we rest in quiet trust, confident that what we have already planted in the soil of our mind will sprout in its own perfect time. True faith in the unseen is not a reckless gamble, but a cultivated state of mind. Just as a gardener waters seeds and then steps back from the plot, trusting in soil, sun, and unseen roots, we too must learn to nourish our intentions and then release the impulse to control every outcome. Psychological research on self-efficacy shows that people who embrace a mindset of trust in their own capacities are more resilient, less prone to anxiety, and far more likely to take inspired action when opportunities arise. By holding a quiet conviction in the valley of the unknown, you create mental space for ideas, connections, and solutions to emerge effortlessly. When you've impressed your intention upon the deeper layers of your mind, analysis and worry become counterproductive forces. The analytical mind thrives on data, questions, and hypothetical scenarios, but those are the very elements that fracture faith. Each what-if thought acts like a pinprick in the balloon of belief, allowing doubt to leak out until your vision floats away. Instead, embrace the principle of cognitive ease. Once your intention feels wrapped in certainty, allow it to rest unchallenged. In this state, your subconscious mind can weave intricate patterns of possibility without interference, aligning people, places, and events in subtle ways you may never consciously trace. To practice unwavering faith is to dedicate a moment each day to silent affirmation. You might choose a phrase such as, "I trust the tapestry of life," or "I feel the momentum of my desire unfolding now." Speak it not as a mantra to be repeated 10 times, but as a heartfelt whisper that echoes through your inner being. Let the words settle into your chest like a soft pebble dropped into still water, sending out ripples of calm that smooth the surface of your thought. Over time, this ritual shifts faith from a fleeting emotion into a durable habit, one that colors your perceptions and responses throughout the entire day. Metaphor can illuminate this practice. Picture a vast ocean stretching beyond the horizon, its depths hidden from view. When you cast a pebble into its waters, you trust that ripples will carry outward, even if you cannot see every wave. In the same way, when you place your intention into the sea of your subconscious, trust that unseen currents will carry it toward manifestation. You may never watch the pebbles sink or the ripples reach every shore, but you know by the law of nature that the impact has been made. Educational studies into expectation theory highlight that our beliefs often become self-fulfilling prophecies. When we genuinely expect a particular outcome, our behavior, decisions, and even tone of voice align with that expectation, drawing in opportunities that reinforce it. By maintaining unwavering faith in your unseen intention, you orient your entire being toward its realization. You walk, speak, and move as though the outcome is inevitable, and the world responds in kind, offering doors where there were walls and whispers of guidance where there was silence. Of course, moments of doubt will surface. Perhaps a setback arrives or news disrupts your inner peace. When this happens, treat the doubt as a harmless thought, not an authority. Imagine it as a leaf carried by a gentle breeze. Notice its presence, then watch it drift away. You might pause, breathe, and silently remind yourself of the faith you nurtured before sleep. In doing so, you refuse to engage in a tug-of-war with reality. Instead, you reaffirm that your intention exists independently of passing circumstances. To weave faith seamlessly into your life, integrate small acts of trust beyond your bedtime ritual. When you send an email, trust the right words will find their way. When you step into a meeting, trust that the conversation will unfold to your benefit. When you part from a friend, trust that connection transcends physical presence. These everyday moments become fertile fields where faith and action coalesce, reinforcing the lesson that unseen forces work in harmony with consciousness. In embracing unwavering faith, you transform waiting from a passive halt into an active state of being. You dance lightly on the threshold between hope and fulfillment, knowing that insistence and worry are not signs of diligence, but barriers to your own creativity. As you continue this practice, you'll discover that true power lies not in controlling every detail, but in trusting the unseen, the silent partner in every act of creation. I remember the morning sun streaming through my window as I sat at my desk, my mind already weaving stories of what could go wrong that day. In that moment, I realized that if my nights were devoted to planting seeds of intention, my days needed to provide the fertile ground where those seeds could sprout. Integrating a simple habit of mental discipline in daylight ensures that the scene I rehearsed before sleep need not evaporate at sunrise. Thought by thought, action by action, we reinforce the bridge between imagination and reality. By catching the first stirrings of doubt or fear and gently guiding them back to our chosen assumption, we maintain continuity between the world we conjure in rest and the world we inhabit in motion. Moments of quiet reflection become anchors of empowerment throughout the hours ahead. To develop this habit of gentle redirection, begin by observing your thoughts without judgment. When you notice tension, whether in a meeting, during a commute, or as you scroll through your phone, pause for a breath. Label the thought as distraction or fear. Then mentally recall the core assumption you embraced before sleep. This could be a phrase such as "I am welcomed" or "opportunities unfold for me." Speak it inwardly with kindness, feeling its resonance lift the weight of doubt. Over time, this practice rewires neural pathways, replacing loops of anxiety with deliberate circuits of confidence. Each moment of redirection strengthens your inner authority, transforming you from a reactive participant in your day into a mindful architect of your reality. Educational science teaches us that habits form through repetition, driven by a feedback loop of cue, routine, and reward. When you pair the cue, a moment of discomfort or mental drift, with the routine of returning to your nighttime assumption, you create a cycle. The reward may be the calm relief or subtle sense of regained focus. As you repeat this cycle, the brain's prefrontal cortex and basal ganglia cooperate to automate the behavior. Soon, you'll find that redirecting stray thoughts becomes unconscious, a natural tilt toward positivity rather than a forced effort. This automation is vital, for a habit that requires constant willpower will eventually falter under stress. By embedding your assumption into the same neural circuits that govern daily routines, you ensure that intentions endure beyond fleeting motivation. Practical tools can accelerate this process. Consider keeping a small card in your pocket bearing your key phrase or symbol from your bedtime scene. When tension surfaces, slip the card into view, let your eyes rest on it for a heartbeat, and repeat your assumption. Similarly, you might use a specific breathing pattern. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6, as a physical anchor that signals your mind to pivot back to constructive thought. Another option is a discrete hand gesture, such as touching your thumb and index finger together to serve as a tactile reminder. These external triggers form bridges between intention and behavior, making the practice feel less abstract and more embodied. As the cues multiply, you'll discover pockets of empowered presence scattered like stepping stones throughout your day. The environment around you plays a crucial role in supporting your mental discipline. Designate visual reminders, a framed print with a word of affirmation on your desk, a sticky note at your bathroom mirror, or a wallpaper on your phone that reflects your nighttime scenario. These nudges prompt your mind to briefly revisit the state of fulfillment. If you work in a digital space, set periodic reminders on your calendar or phone labeled Pause and Imagine, to interrupt work marathons with micro moments of mental rehearsal. Over time, these reminders fade into the background as your mind internalizes the practice. Soon, the very landscape of your day becomes a living canvas where each element reflects the nighttime assumption you wish to manifest. A key element is self-compassion. As you implement this mental routine, you will at times forget or become overwhelmed. When that happens, treat yourself with kindness you would offer a dear friend. Recognize that building any new habit requires patience and grace. Journaling can help. At the end of each day, jot down 3 moments when you successfully redirected a stray thought, and 1 moment when you forgot. Reflect on what external or internal factors supported or hindered you. This simple feedback loop sharpens self-awareness and empowers you to adjust your approach. Educational psychology underscores how reflective practice deepens learning. By reviewing both successes and slips, you create a compassionate roadmap for continuous improvement. As day yields to evening, notice how your habitual discipline prepares the soil for your nightly ritual to flourish. Those mental pivots, gently performed throughout the sunlit hours, sow seeds of resilience that bloom when darkness falls. By the time you lie down to sleep, your mind carries the echoes of midday rehearsals, a living tapestry woven from both awareness and trust. In this way, the bridge between your waking actions and your sleeping assumptions grows stronger, each reinforcing the other in a harmonious cycle. The more you cultivate this daylight habit, the more effortless it becomes, until guiding your thoughts is as natural as breathing. In learning to steer your mind by day, you ensure that the vistas of your imagination find a welcoming home in the waking world. As night deepens and your breath grows steady, remember that each gentle ritual you've embraced, quieting the mind, crafting a focused scene, infusing it with heartfelt emotion, lingering in that feeling, sealing it with genuine gratitude, releasing it with trust, sustaining unwavering faith, and redirecting your thoughts by day, forms a single, seamless journey from imagination to reality. Every act, subtle as it may seem, carries the weight of your intention into the unseen realms where creation first takes shape. By honoring these steps with kindness and consistency, you transform mere wishes into living invitations, ushering events, people, and opportunities that echo your inner conviction. Let this practice be more than a nightly exercise. Let it become an expression of your deepest self, a conversation whispered to the vast intelligence of the universe. Trust that what you have sown in the fertile hush before sleep will blossom in the world you awaken to. Stand confident in the quiet knowing that your dreams, once embraced as real, will weave seamlessly into your everyday life. And as you rest, carry with you the certainty that imagination, feeling, and faith together form the invisible architect of your tomorrow.